The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization working to empower voters and defend democracy. Have you considered joining them? Everyone is welcome. For information about the League's work and membership, visit their website, lwvwinnebago.org.
Welcome to the Menasha Common Council Candidates Forum, presented by the League of Women Voters of Winnebago County. Please note that questions being asked have been submitted by citizens in the community for all candidates. Not all questions may be used because of editing or brevity. Each candidate will be asked the same question, and each candidate has the same time to respond. If you haven't had the opportunity to write a question, please ask one of our ushers, and please print legibly. Thank you. Recording of this forum will be publicly available on our Facebook page and the League website. I'm Peggy Cox, and I will be your moderator. Posey Thorough is our timer. Welcome to our candidates: Chris Klein, Chris Rand, Tim Hale, and Eli Wickman. We will begin with candidates having 2 minutes to introduce themselves and provide background on why they wish to serve. The starting speaker will be Tim Hale. So, following the introductions, each candidate will have 1.5 minutes to respond to questions. At the conclusion, candidates will have 1 minute for closing statements. So, Mr. Hale.
All right, good evening. I'm Tim Hale, and I'm honored to be running for District 3 Alderman. 13 years ago, my wife and I chose Menasha as the place where we wanted to build our lives and raise our family. That decision has proven to be one of the best we've made, and we've raised our 2 sons here, watching them grow alongside with the city. For the past 6 years, I've had the privilege of being on the Parks and Recreation Board, working to enhance the spaces where our families gather, play, and connect. This experience has given me the valuable insight into city operations and the importance of thoughtful planning and fiscal responsibility. Professionally, I've worked as an engineering technician for the past 7 years, developing skills in problem solving and technical analysis that I believe will serve our city well. What I've learned, both through my professional work and public service, is that to be a good leader requires careful attention to detail, a willingness to learn, and the ability to balance diverse and community needs. I believe my combination of community involvement, professional experience, and dedication to Menasha make me well qualified to serve as your alderman. I would be honored to have your support and to work on behalf of District 3 and our entire city. Thank you.
Okay. Tonight we only have one microphone, so we have to move it down. So the next person would be Chris Rand. Oh, did you hear him?
I did.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here as a candidate for District 1 Alderman. As a 50-year-old resident of Menasha, I bring a unique blend of experiences that I believe will serve our community well. My journey includes service as a Marine Corps veteran, which instilled in me the values of dedication, teamwork, and putting community before self. These principles have guided me throughout my career, from working in politics and marketing to my current role managing operations at an IT services provider. My educational background, with degrees in both art and business, has taught me to approach challenges creatively while maintaining a practical, results-oriented focus. This balance is crucial for addressing the complex issues facing our city. As a father and a husband, I understand the importance of strong families and the challenges many face, including mental health issues. This personal experience drives my commitment to ensuring Menasha remains a supportive, inclusive community for all its residents. If elected, my priorities will include fostering economic development to broaden our tax base and create opportunities for all, enhancing our city's infrastructure and recreational facilities, like the ongoing improvements to Jefferson Park and the Water Street corridor, ensuring fiscal responsibility while maintaining essential services, and very importantly, improving communication with residents. I believe in Menasha's potential, Our city has made remarkable progress from financial turnaround to new development projects. I'm committed to building on this success, always keeping the needs of our residents at the forefront. I look forward to earning your trust and your vote. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Ready? Okay. Thank you and welcome everybody. Thank you to the league, to the rest of the candidates here, to all of you for coming out tonight. I'm Chris Klein. I'm a candidate for District 1 Alderman. I've been an active member of this community for over 30 years, whether as a business owner, a former District 1 Alderman, volunteering at community events, or giving back as a long-term member of Menasha Rotary. As an alderman, we are your voice. I'm endorsed by you and will represent your message at City Hall. I will be accessible and available to you, the residents of District 1. I've been a Doty Island homeowner in the same house for 28 years. This is where I raised my kids. Now they bring my beautiful grandchildren home to visit. It's funny because people who live on the island rarely move off the island. And if they do move, they typically buy another house in the district or on the island. And when you've been in the same place for as long as I have, you get to know your neighbors. And when somebody, when they walk by all the time, if you don't see somebody in a few days, you wonder if everything's okay. Now you see them out walking their dogs, they're pushing their kids in strollers, and now their kids are back pushing their own kids in the strollers. We are a community. We're neighbors. We're living and working and recreating together in a very special place. My priorities for the city are public safety, public works. Also making sure that we can afford the other quality of life features now and in the future, especially our parks and our trails. Because of my deep roots here, I understand what makes our community thrive and what we need to protect it for future generations. I ask for your vote April 1st, so together we can continue to build a safe, connected, and forward-thinking community. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, folks. My name is Eli Wickman, and I'm running for the District 3 Alderman. Now, I'm running specifically because I recognize a lot of you. I've served with you. I've rented apartments from you. I've painted your homes. I've shared drinks with you. I see you, and I hear you, and I listen to you, and I've taken that as I serve on the Parks and Recreation Board, and I take your advice, I take your concerns, and I actively want to do something to fix them. I don't have all the answers, but what I do have is the ability to talk to you, see you around town, strike up a conversation. I'm more than willing to hear you out. I think the biggest problem with Menasha right now is our perceived image of it. I love this city. We chose to move here in the middle of a polar vortex when we couldn't even see Lake Winnebago from our window. It was all white, and we saw it thaw, fell in love with the city, and we've been here for 12 years now. We've decided to buy our first home here. We've decided to raise, presumably, 2 dogs here. And we've decided to stay here. I think that we need more community pride, and the way to do that is with communication. We need to know what's happening. We need to know why some roads, are a little bumpy right now. We need to know why things are the way they are, and when they're getting fixed, and how to do that. And if you elect me, I'd be more than willing to have those conversations with you and solve problems with you together and be your voice on the council. Thank you.
Okay. Chris Frand, you will have the first go at this question.
Right on.
Okay, what is going well in the city of Menasha, and what is one area you would improve?
Well, I think Menasha has a lot of things that are going well. I think that we have a lot of great things going on with our parks, our trail system, seeing a lot of great activity downtown. There's a lot of events happening that bringing in a lot of traffic to help support those businesses as well. I think economic development is a huge factor for me. And while we have some great things going, they could be better. I'd like to do more to drive traffic to our businesses. Streamline our permit processes, offer targeted incentives, enhance our infrastructure to attract diverse businesses to our community, leverage our TIF districts wisely, fostering entrepreneurship to help create jobs and broaden our tax base, and ensure long-term prosperity for the city.
Okay, Chris Klein?
What's going well? I believe our community is fairly financially sound, and that's a big factor for a small community. Our events are well attended. We're a community. We really do rally around our community. We have, it's relatively safe, so it attracts families, it attracts growth. So I think there's a lot of good things that we see every day. We see our neighbors, we're out walking, we see so many things that build a community and make a community. And I think that is one of the biggest factors about this community, and the reason I've been here this long is because of that, the uniqueness of this community. You know, as a realtor, people used to bring customers around and drive them around Menasha and some of the places. And I'd see the realtors drive through with their customers because of how unique this area is. We're on the water. This is one of the few actual downtowns that's on the water. So it does provide us some unique opportunities here with our marina and some of the growth that's going on downtown. So our whole community. So I think we have a lot of good things going on in Menasha, and we need to help more people about that, how great this area is. Every time I talk to somebody, I tell them, the first thing I tell them is, it's a beautiful day in Menasha.
Okay. Eli?
I believe that the best thing Menasha has going for it right now is, outside of parks, I'm a little biased on that one as a Parks Board member, but I truly believe our community events are fantastic. When everyone gets out, Jefferson Park, Smith Park, Grunsky, all of those things that happen around town, you see the community come together. And I think that's just fantastic, seeing that. I think something that could use a little improvement is, I would like to see more Menasha residents support the local businesses around town. Outside of events, sometimes you can drive straight downtown and see not a car parked outside. I would love to see that changed. If everyone spent one purchase a week at a local Menasha business rather than a chain or a big box store, that would be the one thing I would improve. You would see a world of difference hit Menasha with just that one small change that we can all make.
Okay.
I also agree that the parks are a huge improvement, and like Eli, I guess I'm a little biased on that one. We've also done a really good job at bringing in new events, like the Electric City Experience. That was a well-attended event. A lot of people liked that event. There's just all these little events, especially that I know the Parks and Rec Department put on, which are well attended and overall just really enjoyable events and affordable, which is, I think, a big thing for a lot of people right now. One of the big things I would like to see changed is the downtown area does need help, and I think we need to not only focus on from a city aspect, but also partnering with other groups to try to encourage them to do more events downtown. It's great if the Parks and Rec Department can do more events downtown, but if we can start attracting other businesses or nonprofits to host their events downtown, that will help increase the foot traffic down there. It can help bring more business to downtown.
Okay. All right. Chris Klein, new question. Should the city of Menasha go to a fee-based charge for garbage collection instead of assessment?
Well, right now, we have weekly garbage pickup, and I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, residential garbage pickup. If you're charging every resident for a tipping fee, I'm not sure exactly what that question is. I don't think that's feasible for most. We have to spread that out a little bit. I mean, that's a community. It's one of the services that I support is Public Works, and we have, our ability to, actually we were one of the first to start single stream recycling, and if we're having garbage pickup and recycling pickup and charge back to the residents, I don't know that that's feasible. I don't know that fee is reasonable. It would be too high for most. So I believe that the system that we have now with our Public Works, with our garbage pickup and recycling pickup, seem the way you need to do it with spreading that cost out.
Okay, Eli?
I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure what kind of fees would be charged, but I truly believe that our public works system works well. And I think we shouldn't change it if it's working. But it is something that I would have to look into before I can make any kind of decision on this. But I truly believe it's working and we shouldn't change it.
Okay. Tim Hale?
So currently, I feel like our garbage pickup in the city is phenomenal. They're reliable. They come through every week when they're supposed to, and I've never had issues with the garbage pickup. I would not want to see that changed. I think how it currently works is working well, and that's not an issue that I feel needs our attention at this time.
Okay.
Fee-based trash pickup does present certain opportunities. It gives people a much better idea of what it actually costs to get rid of their trash, and actually it kind of makes people a little more judicious with such processes, potentially reducing waste, increasing recycling, and it can create a more equitable system. However, it would require careful planning and a lot of administrative hurdles in how to manage such a system. I think that if we were to examine this issue in particular, I would be prone to bringing in experts on the matter who could provide, some data-driven feedback on what kind of advantages that would have for the city.
Okay. All right, Eli. Menasha's homeless population is mostly invisible because they live in their cars, which is a problem in our weather. Should Menasha allot funds to address this population?
Yes. 100%. We should be addressing the homeless population. No one should be, in this community, no one should be forced to live out of an automobile of any kind. Part of being a good neighbor is supporting everyone in our community, and we should help those who are struggling the most.
Okay. Jim?
I think that we do need to help those people who are homeless. Whether that's finding a nonprofit to come in and potentially start up a shelter for those folks. I also think it's important that we keep the homeless population in mind when we look at hours of things like the library, especially when it's excessively hot, excessively cold. We need to keep those folks in mind and not look at, okay, we want to close the library early today. No, when it's that cold, we need to make sure, let's leave the library open, give them a place to be warm. And that also plays into, we need to make sure that we have affordable housing in Menasha in order to help address the homeless population as well.
Homelessness is a complicated issue that I do have some familiarity with. For a number of years, I worked on the board of directors for the new community shelter in Green Bay. I'll say that there's two ways I've seen that money is spent on homelessness. And I certainly think that, I want to say that I certainly think we need to take care of those most in need in our community. If not, we're not much of a community. But how we spend money makes a huge difference. Providing a warm place and a meal is great, but providing the tools for people to get out of homelessness is much, much more important. The new community shelter, we had training programs for people, help them get jobs. They would move through a program to learn how to live on their own again, to pay rent, all these types of things that kind of fall off when it comes to homelessness. It's a complicated issue, and we need to take care of those people, but how we would spend money is important. And there is a lot of federal money available, grants, and things of this nature. So I think that would be something that should always be looked at as caring for our population most in need.
There are, in the Fox Valley, there's quite a few services available to the homeless. Pillars is one that we have here in the Fox Valley that does a tremendous amount of outreach. There are churches locally that provide meals and shelter when necessary. I don't know that the municipality should be involved or budgeting for homelessness, but I certainly think that we have a health department. It's certainly a process that they can participate in that can help direct some of these individuals to the services. We have St. Joe's Food Pantry that's right here in Menasha. And there's a number of different outreach organizations that would love to help anybody that is in need or in crisis. 206 Club is right downtown, or right down here in Menasha, where if you are in crisis, whether it's AA, NA, mental health, there's somebody there. And they'll help you through that process. They'll help you through that 12-stage process to get you the help you need. So we have the services that are available. They're ready and willing to help. So all anybody needs to do who's in that situation is need to reach out, because we do have those services available.
Okay. Good question. Mr. Hale, do you support rezoning of Nicolay School to support business operations versus residential use?
So I was disappointed when I heard that Nicolay was going to be used for, I believe it was for an antique store now or something along those lines. I think that was a good opportunity for the city to potentially have some affordable houses built in that area. And so I would prefer to see it more residential at this point, whether that's turning Nicolay into apartments or doing a single-family home and Nicolay along with the side lots that were involved with Nicolay.
Doty Island, it's an interesting community. My son was amongst the last class to go to Nicolay Elementary, so we have a fondness for the school. What would work well in that area? I think, we hired a director of community development, and, I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot from him in the coming years in recruiting the right development for specific areas like the one we're talking about. I could see the right business going in there, or I could see housing. The plans that were briefly shown for housing were very interesting. Those aren't coming to pass. Doesn't mean that something like that couldn't. Doesn't mean that a business wouldn't be right there. I think it just has to reflect the character and the needs of the community.
Okay.
So that Nicolay site has been discussed for a number of years. And the project there, that was nowhere near affordable housing. So those are going to be very expensive townhomes that they were going to build there. Could that, the cost, I've been a realtor for 25 years, and I've been most recently in the last 3 years on the Realtors Association Housing Advocacy Board. We talk about affordable housing and how to make affordable housing within communities, and it starts with zoning. And if we're gonna truly embrace affordable housing, we're going to have to change some of our zoning regulations here in the city. We're going to have to allow more density in buildings like that where it's really cost prohibitive to build it out. That's why that project fell apart, because the costs are too high. So rehabbing these old buildings is not cheap, and most developers don't want to do it. They just want to tear them down and build something new. But we, as a community, we have to be able to embrace that too, because there's a lot of not in my backyard type of comments. So we have to be able to embrace that. And if you're going to put affordable housing in that area, it's going to take some zoning changes. As far as a business in that area, if it's a truly ongoing entity, because we've had mills there for 100 years. But I don't know if we'll be able to, if it's a business there that's going to be sustainable, if we're just going to rotating in and out.
Okay. All right. Chris Rand, what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize. I told you this was going to happen.
I pretty much have to echo a lot of the sentiments here. I am a small business owner. I am a handyman. Refurbing that whole school and turning it into affordable housing would be just crazy expensive. I don't think that is a good usage of that space. Would I love to see love that to stay residential? Absolutely. I think keeping the neighborhood on Doty Island a neighborhood feel is a great idea. I think that putting a business there would only draw attention away from our very nice downtown that I would love to see built up. I would like to keep attention focused there and more affordable housing put on this side of the river.
Okay. Now, Chris Rand, what do you think of Menasha being interested in purchasing the old UWO campus?
My cheat sheet doesn't have anything for that. That's an excellent question, and I know the UW Oshkosh the Fox Valley campus is an important issue, and it's been rather recent news. I really don't have the details to give a good answer on that at this time.
Okay.
This way.
Yep.
This is one of the topics that we had with our housing advocacy group with the Realtors Association, and this is a unique opportunity for three entities to come together and do something quite remarkable with this space. We have Winnebago County, Outagamie County, and the city of Menasha. If we can work together on this, and we can put together a regional approach to this site, it could be something that can be useful for generations. If we tackle this alone, we're going to get Menasha's viewpoint, we're going to get the Winnebago County's viewpoint, we're going to get Outagamie County's viewpoint, and we're not going to get anything cohesive. So for that site, we have to. I would get what do you call it? Get the name of get a assessment done. And have a regional approach to that site. The city should not go alone, because there's parcels there that the city owns. There's parcels there that we could do something with, but we need this to be a unified front and make it something unified for all the communities and all the counties involved.
Okay, Eli?
My question to whether or not we should purchase that is to what end? While I do encourage growth for the community, I'm curious what to use that very hyper-specific space for. Down the road, we have many empty, large spaces that have been fixed up, looking nice. but they're empty still. What do we do with what we have? For the time being, until I do any more kind of research, my gut is kind of telling me we should focus on what we have, getting those fixed up first, encouraging growth of the stuff we own instead of purchasing something new so it doesn't sit empty for as much time as some of the others have.
I don't think that the city should purchase the campus. First of all, I don't know where the city would get the money for that. I mean, it's a fairly large purchase. We have other expenses coming up that are larger projects over the next 5 years that we need to have the money for that and not purchase another building that would be a tough one to really do much with. I do like Chris's idea regarding a partnership with those other, the two counties and try to work something out for that site. I don't want to see it sit empty. I really would like to see something like the Barlow Planetarium and the Weiss Earth Museum continue to happen. I think those are great assets to our community.
Okay, Mr. Klein, how do you see activity and sustainability improve Menasha?
Well, sustainability has a lot of aspects to it. We have a sustainability board in Menasha. Menasha's been Tree City for, I think, 40 years. Single stream recycling, I mentioned that. We're one of the first municipalities to do that. Our tipping fees, our recycling fees are at $7.50 per ton. Our garbage is $54 a ton. If you have overflow with your recycling, you can drop it off. Some of it you can drop off at the city garage. So we do a lot with our sustainability, with our waterfront, with our clean water. I think Menasha has done quite a bit. So I think what we're doing right now is remarkable for a community of our size, and I think that's a lot what we have.
Okay, all the way down.
There can always be more sustainability, but I think where Menasha is very, very good. I believe that we could keep going forward with solar on top of our municipal buildings. We have some on the city garage that is so successful, they were talking about putting more on there. And I think that's great. We are a terrific biking community. We are, I think, and that's encouraging people to get around and be biking. We're talking about expanding trails through other communities. That's excellent. That's cutting down on our carbon emissions. Just like we use the city garage, I'm there almost every week. We burn through a lot of cardboard. I think it's great that we have that free thing that we can just send our cardboard to. Wonderful. And I think we are so very green with our trees. We are adding more trees every year. I think we increased, if I remember correctly from the Parks Department, we increased trees year over year like clockwork. It is wonderful.
Okay.
The city really is doing quite well sustainability. It's with all the the Tree City USA stuff. We're constantly planting trees, like Eli was saying, and with all of the new projects, there's a lot of focus on sustainability. Simple things like instead of having lights on inside of the Jefferson Park Pavilion, we put skylights in. With the new city garage, they have the whole roof, I don't know if it's a whole roof, but a good section of the roof covered in solar panels. We are constantly expanding trails. One trail I would love to see happen, and this would have to be some that we'd work with Winnebago County, is a trail along Appleton Road, or figured out a way that we can make it easier to get to places like Piggly Wiggly or the old Shopko site by bike from the main part of the city. That is something that I would love to see happen.
Sustainability, I think it's important. there's a lot of economic benefits that can come with it. Of course, there's always there's the health aspect, and there's the kind of saving things for the next generation. But I think that we can look at there's economic benefits, right? These green industry jobs, we can create jobs with that. There can be cost reduction to our utility bills with these things as well. And although there's maybe plenty we are doing, there's always room for improvement. Things like natural processes for stormwater collection or green building practices that can be implemented to further build upon the sustainability that the city already has. I think everybody's pointed out that we have a lot of great things going on, but there's always room for improvement.
Okay, that was the last question. And now the candidates will have 1 minute for their closing statements. And we would like to start with Eli.
I do truly love this city, and that's the whole reason I'm here, sitting up here, talking to you all. I think we have so much going for us that we just have to embrace and we have to celebrate. And I want to be a cheerleader of sorts about how much good Menasha can do and will continue to do in the future. I believe that we all have a role to play in that. We all have a role to play in supporting Menasha, supporting the local business, supporting new growth, everything. And we can all do that if we know where to direct our efforts. As a small business owner in Menasha, as a homeowner in Menasha, and as someone who's probably going to live here for the rest of their life, I only want to see Menasha go up, and I very much want your vote to help that growth. Thank you.
Okay. Tim?
All right, first of all, thanks to the league for hosting the forum tonight. I've used this forum in the past for making my decisions in past elections, so thank you. Thanks to everyone who came out as well. Like I said, I have 2 kids. They go to Menasha schools. They love Menasha, and one of them has already told me that he wants to live in Menasha when he's older also. So I am really motivated to do what's right for the city. And I really want to make sure that the city continues to grow. We're on a good path now, and we need to continue that path going forward. So I hope that I can win your vote on April 1st, and thanks again for attending tonight.
Thank you all for your intention and engagement tonight. As a Marine Corps veteran, business professional, and father, I bring a unique blend of the experiences to serve our community. I promise to approach the role of alderman with the same candor and dedication I've shown throughout my career. My commitment is simple: listening to you and acting for us. Together, we can build on Menasha's progress, address our challenges, and create a thriving city for all residents. District 1, I ask for your vote to be your voice on the Common Council. Thank you.
I reiterate thanking you all for being here. Thank you to the league for putting this forum on. And I started down this path in politics here in the city in 1992. And I've been involved since then, whether I be an elected official, whether I'm active in the community, volunteering, or giving back, like I said. My priorities for the city, and one thing that Tom Stoffel told me, he was one of the old school comptrollers here, told me, public works and public safety. The rest is up to the residents to decide if they want to pay for it. My priorities of the city are public works and public safety. Also making sure that we can afford the other quality of life features now and in our future, especially our parks and our trails. Because of my deep roots here, I ask for your vote April 1st. So together we can continue to build a safe, connected, and forward-thinking community. I was the last one.
By the skin of your teeth. Okay, this is a reminder for the audience. The League of Women Voters does not endorse or support any candidate or party. On behalf of the League, I want to thank all the candidates for participating in this forum, and thank you, the audience, for your questions. Thanks also to the Menasha City Council Center and the Menasha Public School District for the use of their facility. Vote on April 1st. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization working to empower voters and defend democracy. Have you considered joining them? Everyone is welcome. For information about the League's work and membership, visit their website, lwvwinnebago.org.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for staying, or new people coming. We appreciate you being here. Welcome to the Menasha Area School District Board of Education Forum, presented by the League of Women Voters of Winnebago County. Please note that questions being asked have been submitted by citizens in the community for all candidates. Not all questions may be used because of editing or brevity. Each candidate will be asked the same question, and each candidate has the same time to respond. If you haven't had the opportunity to write a question, please ask one of our ushers, or you can bring it to the table right here. But please write legibly. Recording of this forum will be publicly available on our Facebook page and our website. I'm Peggy Cox, and I will be your moderator, and Posey Thorough will be our time. Welcome to our candidates. Carol Sturm, who is an incumbent, Nathan Spangenberg, and Rob Konitzer, who is also incumbent. And they're running for 2 seats on the board. We will begin with the candidates having 2 minutes to introduce themselves and provide background on why they wish to serve. We previously determined the starting speaker through a random choice, and Carol won. So, following the introductions, each candidate will have 1.5 minutes to respond to the questions. At the conclusion, candidates will have 1 minute for closing statements. So, Carol, would you like to start?
Good evening. My name is Carol Maureen Sturm, and I am running for the Board of Education for the Menasha Joint School District. My husband and I have been Menasha residents for just short of 50 years, 50. All of our children attended and graduated from the Menasha schools and have very successful careers. I retired in 2020 from the Menasha schools after 31 years. Hired as a classroom paraprofessional in 1990, I moved through different areas of support positions, ending my career as an administrative assistant in the district office. Over the years, I served on several committees in our school district, in the city of Menasha, and Winnebago County. As a parent, employee, and most recently a school board member for the last 3 years, I have firsthand experience with the strong education system we are proud to be part of. With my past history in the district, I believe I am the best candidate to make sure students continue to remain the most important part of our district. Transparency and balanced budgets are a requirement, as well as accommodating every student of every ability. Staff collaboration and fostering a healthy school environment and culture are also part of giving students every chance to succeed. Reaching every student every day has been the motto of the Menasha schools for as long as I can remember. I ask for your support and your vote for the Menasha Joint School Board of Education. Thank you. Go Blue Jays.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Nathan Spangenberg. I moved to Menasha about 5 years ago. Live here with my wife Kim and daughter Mackenzie. I've wanted to take a more active role in my daughter's education, and I thought that this would be a good opportunity for that. I work at United Plastic Fabricating in Neenah. Been there for almost 22 years. We build water tanks for fire trucks. While there, I've learned some very valuable skills about taking ownership in what I can do and learning how to work as a team with a shared goal. I hope to bring those to the school board as we work together for the common good of the education and safety of our children.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to share my perspective with the residents of Menasha and Fox Crossing who make up the Menasha School District. My name is Rob Konitzer, and I have always considered strong public education to be the backbone of our society, preparing all children for adulthood, whether that be college, tech school, or the workforce. I come from a family of teachers, including my mother, and I almost went into teaching before following my interest in computers to an IT career, previously with Lawrence University and currently with the Green Bay Packers. Thank you. Other than my college days in Madison, I've always lived in the Fox Valley, including 15 years now here in Menasha. To be honest, and forgive me, I hadn't heard the best things about Menasha schools growing up. 9 years ago, while my wife was pregnant, finally, I heard about an open position on the school board, so I decided to take my IT skills, problem solving, and a love of learning new things to make sure that Menasha schools would be ready for my daughter when she got here. What I actually learned was that Menasha schools were already in very good hands. We've historically had some of the best year-over-year improvement scores, and the educators and staff truly care about the well-being of each and every one of our students. Now I've spent 9 years as a member of the school board, and the last 2 of which the board has asked me to serve as president. While we certainly have challenges we are addressing, teacher shortages and funding, for example, we have much to be proud of, including 2 thriving charter schools, a recently renovated Calder Stadium, and this summer we open our brand new intermediate and middle school buildings. Thank you to all the voters for approving that referendum, by the way. I'm honored to be a part of the Menasha School District family, and I ask for your vote April 1st to continue to strive for excellence for all students.
All right, Nathan, we're going to start with you for this first question. The state starts its biennial budget cycle this year. What priorities do you believe the state should focus on regarding education?
I think that the most important thing to stick our money into is the education of our children. And that being said, I would like to see it put into direct education. I think the vast majority of our taxpayer allocated funds should be put towards direct education, reading, writing, STEM. Those I think should be the focus.
Okay. And then, yes.
Fortunately, I only have a minute and a half for this one. Quick history in our state in 93-94, we started with revenue limits put in place by the state, which locked us into the current, a maximum of the current property taxes at that time. Until the 09-010 year, we were pegged to inflation as the most we could raise those amounts that we could raise for the school or be given for the school from the state. And since then, we have not even been pegged to inflation. Currently, we are down $3,380 per student per year, and we only spend about $11,000 per student per year as it is. We have lost about 20% or more. What we need to do with the money that we have, of course, we're already being as financially responsible as possible, really stretching the dollars a long way, but we need to make sure that we keep and attract as many quality teachers as we can in order to stretch that dollar, in order to give the best quality of education with the materials and the funds that we have available.
Carol?
Unfortunately, underfunding continues. More dollars are needed, to meet needs of all students, especially in the special education area. The revenue and inflation numbers do not align.
Okay. All right. So Rob, Menasha schools have a diverse student body. How will you, as a board member, address the needs to serve these populations?
Yes, we do have a very diverse student body. About 40% of our student body is a minority. And we have been, as a board, very much made it a priority the past few years to have our equity mentors, equity council, make sure they have a very large presence in our schools. What equity means, and a lot of people just haven't had a chance to really go into this, it isn't favoring one person over another or one class over another. It is looking at the needs of a particular student and getting that student what they need to get a good education. So basically we need to keep that up. We have I think 2 or 3 times a year we have that equity council come in and talk to the school board, and we are always making sure that they are keeping on top of their jobs and providing an equal chance for all of our students to get a good education and be prepared for life after school.
Okay. Carol?
Could you repeat the question,
Yes.
please?
Menasha schools have a diverse student body. How will you, as a board member, address the needs to serve these populations?
For all of my adult life, I've had deep conviction to treat all people with dignity and respect, and I see those same values in our schools. Menasha has one of the most diverse demographics of the districts in the area. They also are very good at reaching out to every child of every need. And I feel we are doing a great job, and it needs to continue with the resources that we have available.
Okay. Nathan?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question once more, please?
Sure. Menasha schools have a diverse student body. How will you, as a board member, address the needs to serve these populations?
Okay, so my daughter is 9 years old, and she has friends of all different races, and she doesn't think anything of it, and I think it's an incredible thing. It's so beautiful to see, especially living in such a diverse community like Menasha. I mean, it's important anywhere, but I think especially in a town like Menasha or city like Menasha, it's so important. And I think adults, and not saying that, not implying anything, but I think adults could take some cues from children who don't see the color of skin, and they see a person. I think that Martin Luther King Jr. said it best when he said that we should be judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. And so I would like to see that every student is treated exactly the same. Race does not matter. Religion does not matter. None of that matters. Let's treat everyone equally.
Okay. All right, Carol, we're back to you. What can the Board of Education do to ensure that the district retains an excellent teaching staff?
Well, I feel that our district does a great job of retaining and hiring and retaining quality staff, offering salaries and benefits in line with surrounding districts. The staff stay because of strong administration, culture, and work environment, which Menasha strives to offer.
Okay, Nathan?
I guess I don't have much an opinion on this, not having seen numbers or anything like that. I guess I would have to do more research on this before I would be able to give an informed answer on this.
Okay, Rob?
Thank you for this question. This is one of the most important things that we are facing as a school board right now. I do have some stats for you. Teacher compensation has fallen 20% to inflation since 2010, and we are currently losing 40% of new teachers within their first 6 years because of the lower compensation that we're able to provide. So this is an incredibly important question. Obviously, we have to keep reteaching our teachers as we learn more about what works best for each of our students. We pass that along to our teachers. We build in days that they are learning more so that they can continue to be the best teachers possible. We are also, I personally have a big emphasis on social and emotional learning within our student body. By doing that, we are improving the culture of our schools, and that actually does help retain our quality our quality teachers, excuse me. With that, yes, we continue to constantly look for new ways to improve our schools and make sure that those best teachers stick around.
Okay. Nathan, we're starting with you. What can the Board of Education do to ensure that the district retains an excellent, oh, I just read that one. Sorry. I didn't mark it up. New question. What is your opinion of Act 20 and how it is being implemented in Menasha schools?
I haven't seen numbers on how effective it is, but I'm not sure why it needed to be implemented. I learned how to read, 37 years ago, and I learned to read a specific way, and now I'm seeing, like when my daughter was learning to read, she had to learn how to read in a different way without sounding out the words and just memorizing what the word looked like letter order and all these sorts of things. And I'm not sure why we had to change something that was working. It is law, so I guess we need to follow that, but I'm not sure what. I would like to see a push to change it because every child learns differently.
Okay. Rob?
Act 20, I don't really mind Act 20 so much, other than the fact that it is a bit of an overreach by the state. It does take away some of the local control. When we compared what we were already doing in Menasha with Act 20, we only had to make some very minor differences to be fully compliant with that law. That being said, we are always looking for the best ways to teach our students. We've recently gone through a study of our reading materials and curriculum, and we are looking at some new possibilities there, all of which would be compliant with Act 20, and we are hoping to start some pilot programs next year and maybe move to some new materials the year after, depending on how those pilot programs go. But again, the goal is always continual improvement, make sure that we are always following the latest methods that have had the best proven results.
Reading basics are the backbone of a solid education. Menasha School District is making strides to meet the guidelines of Act 20 by researching and piloting the best resources available. Menasha Schools recently concluded a comprehensive literacy audit and is in the process of developing action plans to respond to any areas of growth identified in the literary audit.
Okay. Rob? Who should set the criteria and make selections for books purchased for school libraries and classrooms?
I believe that we all have some input in that. Parents can certainly raise their concerns to the school board and to educators. We all have a voice in that. But when it comes to finding what is age appropriate, that is best left to the professionals in the end. Of course, if you have a specific concern, there is always the ability to challenge that, and then we as a school board could look at specific materials if someone found a problem with them. But we have trained professionals in our schools, and they do a really good job giving our students what is age appropriate for them. So I think it's mostly best left to them.
Choosing appropriate age-level media and books for the district is headed up by the district's full-time media specialist, using a vetted process. Working with staff and the professionals in the district and following district and state guidelines, I feel the quality of the selections is superior.
I would have to disagree with Rob on this one. Being a parent, I think that parents should have the final say on what is in that library. There are definitely books that one parent or an expert, I think you said expert, professional, I think you said professional, right? A professional would say is okay, that I would not be okay with my child seeing. And I'm not understanding why it would need to be in a school library. Public library, I could understand, but in the school library where I can't keep tabs on what my daughter is reading, I think is not okay. I think that my daughter is my daughter's and not the school's.
Okay. Carol. Closing Jefferson School only addressed a portion of the budget shortfall. Has that gap been closed, or are there future actions pending? Number 2, part of this, can you address the long-term plan for schools? So it's a two-part.
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure, it's long. Okay. Closing Jefferson School only addressed a portion of the budget shortfall. Has that gap been closed, or are there future actions pending? The second part is, can you address the long-term plan for schools?
Wow. I guess we really don't have a crystal ball on that one. The closing of Jefferson School did help at that point when we were at a critical point. I believe that things have balanced out. You know, balanced budgeting is quite important for a district. And we have very transparent and awesome professionals in our education, or in our administration, who handle things very carefully and creative. So as far as long-term, that I would have to look into and get back to you, but.
Okay.
I'm not.
One more time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Jefferson School is being used by the Park and Rec for programming, so it's not
Okay.
sitting empty.
Okay.
No problem. I can't speak to this because I'm not part of the school board, so I don't really have any information on that.
Okay. Rob?
Jefferson School closing was a painful necessity. If you haven't heard the story behind it, 4 years ago, as the state was looking at what money they were going to give us in the biennium budget, they saw that the funds that were coming to school districts, called the ESSER funds, that were supposed to help us come out of the pandemic stronger and build back some of what we lost, they decided that that was enough money for us and decided not to up the amounts that we got despite inflation. Now, we knew that money was running out after 3 years. They said, don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll give you that money back at that time. And they didn't. It was called the fiscal cliff, and we had, I think it was about half of school districts in this state go to an operational referendum in order to not fall off that cliff themselves. What we did instead was something that was, quite frankly, probably going to be necessary, as unfortunate it was within the next year or two anyway. We have had declining enrollment in the school district for quite a while, and it simply didn't make sense. As far to keep that open for the long term, as far as future plans go, we don't have any. I think this was getting at any future closings, which we do not have in any plans, and any future elementary school is the next step in our future plans, and we will definitely be having many listening sessions with the community before we make any decisions there.
Okay. Nathan, are private school vouchers good or bad for the district?
I think they're good for the school district. I think that it makes competition, and competition is going to make everyone better. Right now, the public school district basically has a monopoly on education, and so there's really no need to improve, because where else are you going to go for public education? The voucher program would improve education at the public schools by, I guess, making them be at the same level as a private or parochial school. Therefore, all the students win, all children win, because they are going to get the best quality education.
Okay.
I highly disagree with the voucher programs in this state. First of all, when someone joins a voucher program, that money is slapped onto your taxes immediately, wholesale. It's labeled as part of what the schools are charging, but it doesn't come to our schools at all. It just goes straight to that. There is no accountability or transparency with the voucher programs. When vouchers go to those schools, they do not have to follow the same rules that we do. They don't have to accept the same students that we do. And we have no idea how good or bad the education is in those schools. Public schools are not a business. There is no monopoly. We are a service to the community. And we need every cent that we can get in order to provide the best for our community, to give these kids a chance to be real leaders in our society after they leave here, to prepare them. And right now, the voucher system is just a drain on that. I don't have strong feelings or anything.
Okay, is that better? Okay, all right. Every parent and guardian is entitled to choose the best type of education for their child. Vouchers are funded through tax dollars. Our district sends our budget to the state, and dollars are removed from our budget directly to fund school vouchers. Dollars removed from our budget cuts into programs and staffing for our Menasha Joint School District public schools, including special education. Public schools have standards for measuring student achievement, and we have to make sure our tax dollars are being used wisely for all, including special education.
Okay.
School vouchers, I have another one. School vouchers were not developed by school boards and school districts. School vouchers were set up by the state of Wisconsin legislators.
Okay. Everybody answered that question, so now we're going to start with Carol, so you can get that microphone back. Yes, he was. Oh, then you are. Oh. See, every single time. Okay. Rob, this is long. What are your thoughts of the use of additional taxing authority in Fund 80 to raise the school tax rate for community programming and facilities?
I think there are certain programs that could be looked at. It would have to be taken, of course, on a case-by-case basis. We would be looking for anything that would provide an extra tax burden with the Fund 80. It would definitely have to be a conversation with the community before we went forward with that. There are certain things that we are hoping to look into. I know right now childcare is a huge priority that we are exploring. But anything that we would do would definitely have a voice from the community before we would go forward with that.
Okay. Carol?
I don't do money. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I'll be happy to. What are your thoughts of the use of additional taxing authority in Fund 80 to raise the school tax rate for community programming and facilities?
Well, like Rob said, it would be a case-by-case basis, and it would have to be something that is really needed. I think that our finance department does a great job of knowing where our money is, and it would be something that we would have to investigate and go through and feel it would be a good program to fund.
Okay. Nathan?
53% of Menasha households are below the poverty line. That being said, I think that, yeah, it would have to come up for a vote, but I couldn't imagine Menasha households voting to raise their tax burden even more. But if that's what the voters of Menasha want, then I guess that's what we do.
Okay. This is for Carol. The Department of Public Instruction posts report cards for public schools on a yearly basis. What is the purpose of these report cards and how is it used?
Well, I just happened to do some research on our report.
All right.
The purpose of public school report cards is to provide information to the public of a district's strength and growth. Showing trends over the years gives information of what is working and what needs to be addressed. Menasha schools are proud to currently have 5 schools exceeding expectations and 2 schools meeting expectations, according to the most recent state report card.
Our current DPI changed the way we do these scores, and it's more manipulative as to where our students really are. Changing the way we score these tests does not improve our education. It just kind of sweeps it under the rug. 41% of Menasha students read at grade level. 48% are proficient in math at grade level. And I think we can do better. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess that's it, I guess. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think the report cards are certainly an important tool to use. You have to really dig into them in order to get the most useful information, though. One thing you'll find out about Menasha schools is that our year-over-year, the growth portion of that report card is something we have historically been very good at. And as you can imagine by what it's called, it's how much the students that are in our classrooms are growing from year to year. So we don't have as high of achievement scores right now as some of our surrounding, but we also face some very difficult demographics within our city, within our school district borders. You mentioned before the high levels of poverty. We have many underprivileged people coming in. We also have a very transient population, lots of new kids each year. But the report card is showing that those kids that are here year after year are doing a very good job of improving. And to me, that's the heart of what we're doing as a school system and what our teachers are doing for our kids.
Okay. All right, this will be the last question. Carol, how would you communicate with Menasha voters? I'm sorry. No, you, all three of you answered. I have her down as ending. Is that okay?
Oh, we're good. We're
Here's
good.
my sheet.
Okay.
Okay, so Carol, I'll read it again.
Okay.
How would you communicate with Menasha voters?
How would I communicate? Well, there's always social media, but I mean, I'm happy to give anyone my phone number. I'm happy to give them my email. They can text me. They can contact me. Communication is so important. My heart and soul is in this city and in this school district, and I'm willing to talk with anybody about anything. If I don't know the answer, I'm certainly willing to find out.
Okay, Nathan?
If elected, I work for you. So email, phone, personal phone, Facebook, get a hold of me. I'm more than willing to sit down and have a conversation with you.
Rob?
All right, can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Sure. How would you communicate with Menasha voters?
Communicate with me. Okay. I'm not on social media as much as I used to be, but I am available there if necessary. On the school board website are all of the school districts' email and phone numbers. We're happy to talk to anyone. I took a call from one mother this morning, just this week, and got her to our superintendent so that he could take care of that situation as best as possible. We also have other ways of reaching out. We have our newsletters. We have mailings that go out. We have listening sessions. You may have seen there are some of those coming up soon that will be addressing our continual improvement plan that we are starting this year. And please do reach out. I would love to hear from you.
Okay. So now candidates will have 1 minute for closing statements, and we will start with Nathan.
I want to do what's best for this community. I want to put children first. Their safety and their education is the most important thing to me. I will work very hard. I don't know how much you guys know about wrestlers, but I wrestled in high school. We are hard workers and we do not give up. So I will give everything I have for the safety and education of our children. I humbly ask for your vote on April 1st. Thank you.
First of all, thank you again, League of Women Voters, to everyone who's here and to those who are watching later this month or in the next month or so from home. In my 9 years here, I've learned a ton about this school district and what it takes to provide quality education in Menasha. I've spent a lot of my time during that time going to retreats, to conventions, to seminars, to learn as much as I could about current events, about current practices, and I will continue to do that to provide the best possible education for all of our students. And again, that is for all students, no matter where they're going, no matter what their background. They're all our pride and joys. We love them so much, and all I want to do is do the best for them. Thank you. And I ask for your vote April 1st.
The role of the school board is to set academic goals and expectations of a district. In addition to the education side of school board decisions, brick and mortar decisions also need to be made. Our district has beautiful buildings to show these efforts to provide an excellent learning environment. As an incumbent, I am running for the Board of Education to ensure Menasha schools are continuing to make positive strides for our students. My experiences of how the schools operate from my time in the district as a parent, volunteer, and employee has been a great asset to my school board experience. I'm very approachable and see the big picture of Menasha schools. Working with students has always been a passion of mine to help make a difference. Please vote for me April 1st. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. The League of Women Voters does not endorse or support any candidates or party. On behalf of the League, I want to thank the candidates for participating in this forum, and thank you to the audience for your questions. Thanks also to the Menasha School Center and also the Menasha Public School District for their help in this endeavor. Thank you, and vote April 1st.
The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization working to empower voters and defend democracy. Have you considered joining them? Everyone is welcome. For information about the League's work and membership, visit their website, lwvwinnebago.org.